All right, it's super easy to build. You're just gonna find this cave, whatever this cave is. I think it's called Small Easy on build servers with the bucket, watching the base watching the bucket. It's gonna be incredibly nice and incredibly easy. And you're just gonna find this splotch right before the logs that designate the build zone. You can find this splotch that's just straight ahead, a couple feet back. And we're gonna aim in a specific spot. On the splotch, you can just go to the right or towards the wall, it doesn't really matter, just right in front of it. And we're gonna find the spot. It's like the little peak of the third or fourth log right here, that little peak right in between here, right up there. We're just gonna find that peak right there. And you don't need a gun to aim at it, it's gonna be easy. And you just find that spot right there. Again, you don't need a gun, it's just gonna be right, like a pixel to the right on the top after you find the middle of the 6 logs, just right there. And we're gonna crouch, move forward, building plan, triangle, foundation. This wall is gonna completely seal everything, and we'll have a full hexagon of walls, 4 of which that are going to be HQM. I mean, we just spam triangles towards the bucket side. And this is gonna be our honeycomb by the bucket side right here. This is going to be the back wall, and then this is going to be our bunker, and this is where our turret is going to be. And that way the bunker can be opened from either side if you happen to actually survive the bucket fall. And before we upgrade, we're just gonna need to find out if we can fit through here. Little testing, place that square after you slant down the wall with the roof and just jump through it, make sure you can do that. And everything's good. So we're just gonna full wall this off right here, upgrade that to stone. And we're just gonna finish everything with triangles, except for the TC room in the back. You can do a triangle bunker for the TC, but it's not really necessary. I like to do a 2x1, so we're gonna do 1 layer of triangles right here behind the bunker wall, and then we're gonna do 2 raised triangles and then a low triangle for our 2x1 TC bunker. And the TC is going to be able to fit here, right here. We just have to upgrade these because twig sucks. And now we can place our TC right there. We're just gonna upgrade it first to stone. Place the double half wall, demolish the lower one, and now we have a stability bunker. Now we are currently at 8 rockets or 4 rockets / soft side stone if they survive a bucket fall. And we're just gonna upgrade everything here. Place this wall, you might have to jump around a little bit. And you want to upgrade this triangle. Sometimes you can't access it from the front. And we're just going to go ahead and jump through here. Everything is good. Upgrade these foundations, rotate your bunker wall, upgrade the top square for your bunker. And now everything is good. We're just going to go ahead and put a bag in here. We're going to be at 8 rockets either way right off the bat, probably like 20 minutes in the wipe with like 3 4K stone. And I like to put a bag outside or a bed. Sometimes if you get a bed early, it's really nice because we're going to be bucket spelunkers. And we're going to upgrade the front to HQM and these 5 triangles. And everything here, everything else can be shipping container metal pretty much. We're just going to upgrade everything here to metal, and you can do the bunker wall here with HQM if you get a bunch of HQM sooner. You don't need to upgrade these 2 triangle foundations there if you want an oil refinery. It's not necessary if you're just in the land of animals. And we're just going to go ahead and upgrade the TC bunker to HQM. And you can upgrade that foundation to HQM if you're a real stickler, but once they're in here, they're deep, they're very deep, so it doesn't really matter. And then this one can be shipping container or metal because we're just going to double metal layer that anyway. And then we're just going to go ahead and do the 2 walls on the front here, HQM. The roof can be shipping container. Again, if you're a stickler, you could do those HQM, but it's not really that necessary in my opinion. We're going to do these 4 HQM, so that is 3 HQM walls so far. And then this one is going to be either double sheet right here and HQM in there. We do want 1 more HQM. It's about 250, 300 HQM so far. Again, it can be done in stages. We'll just do these HQM, and then we'll do these HQM as well. And then in order to get some of these walls, you may have to get the construction angle, which is just jumping up and looking down on it. So we'll just do a half wall up here, hop up here, and look down on that and it'll turn blue, and then you can go ahead and upgrade these probably don't even need to be in there, but it's just nice for splash gaps. And then we do shipping container metal again after this, because there are going to be a lot of walls in the pointy parts of the triangle rather than the flat parts. And twice as many walls, and then we're just going to go ahead and do metal right here. This is going to be our last layer. And then we can go ahead and honeycomb the back of the core and the front of the TC area. And we can seal that off, and then we can go ahead and do a pancake layer on top. Again, none of this is really necessary, but it's just nice to have a peace of mind for offline raid costs. And we go ahead and seal that up. Upgrade everything right there, and go ahead and do your foundations right here. I like to do these double metal instead of HQM just to save on HQM. It's not necessary. You can go crazy with the HQM if you're a recycling fiend. And we're just going to do a raised foundation right here. This is another spot that you could put a turret on this foundation for that hallway. And we could just go ahead and partition these off for like rock loot rooms for your electric furnaces, workbenches, fridges, repair bench, research table, lockers, pretty much everything you can clip inside of a rock or cave. And we'll just go ahead and wall this off right here. Put these floors right here for your loot room below and your loot room above, and then you can just seal this up upwards in the top of the rock. And you can go ahead and put these floors right here. You have a nice little loot room up here. And we can do the same thing right here. Just go ahead and put your floors. We can have more loot rooms. And then you can upgrade everything here and put a door down here right after your bunker. It's good for early game just to have a door, again, just in case someone survives the bucket fall and before you get a turret. And before you get charged battery base above, you just do a 2x1 with like a bunch of solar panels. And when you place your oil refinery, you may have to like lift it up a little bit out of the terrain for it to turn blue when it's all the way down in the terrain in the cave. Sometimes it's red, which is weird. And hopping up through here, you put your wall above the bunker area. Go ahead and make a loot room over here for depot. Garage doors, garage doors, garage doors. As many garage doors as you can get. And as always, I always recommend to have just a regular topside base and then use this for offline storage. Crouching through the oil refinery is kind of a pain. But yeah, just go ahead and seal this up right here. Upgrade this. We could upgrade that wall from the outside. Sometimes, again, the foundation is not accessible. That's why we did that foundation first. Honeycomb this right here. Upgrade the roof tile to HQM. Put a wall right there. Upgrade that. And you could honeycomb this, or I like to just use it as like a mega loot room. Again, if they somehow survive the bucket with all the rockets when you have a turret, there's not much you could do. No point in making that side 90 rockets as well and then not being able to have any space in the base. We're just going to make that like a mega loot room. Put these ceiling tiles up here. These are not really necessary. I just upgrade them to stone and use them to like hang lanterns or lights off of. And then we could partition another loot room over here. Again, e-furnaces, workbenches, repair benches, fridges, anything that sort of clips into those rocks. Place your garage doors down. More garage doors. More garage doors. And even more garage doors. And sometimes jumping over the oil refinery is a bit of a pain, especially since right here I can only do it on one side, but it's not that bad. And coming into the TC room, looks like our upkeep is just slightly more because we added another 2 HQM walls. So it's 109, really not that bad. Again, you don't need to do any HQM and it's still 7 walls. And it's incredibly nice and incredibly easy. No weird tricks required. And we can just go out here, place our turret after we have our charged battery base up top. Again, just a 2x1 with a bunch of solar panels. And we could open this bunker from the inside or outside and pass through it, which is incredibly nice. Again, if you do happen to survive the bucket fall. And sometimes Twig has this like really, Twig has this just harder. So So if it is a pain, you can upgrade it to a nicer skin like Brutalist or Shipping Container. Just make sure you didn't place that wall earlier and it's still within the 10-minute demolish timer. And it's a lot easier to hop through there. But again, don't do it if you place it earlier. And we're just going to go ahead and partition some more loot rooms on top of our 2x1 bunker. Now we can place lockers into the walls. Lockers are going to be your best friend in a rock or cave base because they can clip anywhere. You could just be able to access the feet. Place our workbench up there. It still gives build priv radius even without the upgrade. Repair bench right here. And then like e-furnaces are also your best friend, lockers and e-furnaces. Spam those wherever you want to do them. And then we can add barrels anywhere and everywhere for loot storage. Probably fit about 20 to 30 barrels in large boxes in here. Not too bad. We can just do 6 right here along with the lockers. Then we could spam more over here. You can get a better layout if you want. And then more e-furnaces depending on your tolerance to farm. More e-furnaces, more e-furnaces. And then like a mega loot room over here. It's nice to have this like 12 box, 10 box. And then we can go ahead and do 2 different beds right here. You could do more barrels and boxes. You could do jungle shelves in here with small boxes. And that's pretty much it. That's pretty much the base. Incredibly nice and incredibly easy. We got the turret watching the bucket, and this server has a funny thing where you clap on and clap off the electricity. So we just do clap clap and turrets come on and off. That would be sick to have in the vanilla game, like a sound detector switch. And yeah, very nice and very easy bucket cave solo 99 rockets.